So, as we come back, Mike, go ahead and remove your disguised and your on the run statuses, as they are
Yay!
both clear for the moment.
Just completely gone.
She says she'll clear your name, so for now, that is the truth, unless things change. So,
So don't fuck up
yeah,
again.
don't do bad things. As you guys kind of exit out, again, standing in the courtyard, probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock at this time, so still afternoon. It didn't take you that long in there. Yeah, it seems the flower needs to go to the source of the disease in the slums.
So, Mike, the outbreak. You said something about the lake. You think that's the source?
Not necessarily the lake, more just their water.
Does their water come from the lake?
That's what I would ask.
Yeah, we'll want to go look into that. Whether the source of their water is now the lake, or the lake is bleeding into their water is... I don't know.
What makes you think the lake has anything to do with it at all?
The lake happened, they got sick.
I see.
I'm just putting, 2 and 2 equals 5, okay?
So,
Well, if I might make a suggestion, perhaps we could find out where the slums get the majority of their water supply from.
okay. Is that something you would be trying to find, like the Public Works building, or
Yeah.
going directly there? Okay.
Yeah, Public Works probably.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, you're in downtown, so you can find, any of the government facilities you might need. Let's go ahead and investigate and see what kind of information you're able to get.
They prefer water department.
The waterworks.
Elaborate planner, crowd pleaser. That's all I got.
Okay.
I
Can
think.
I pitch a help point his way?
Sure.
Given that I've helped, like, literally plan a building and everything, I would assume that I would know where to go and who to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say you have the right contact.
How do I add that?
So that would just be a
Just a
plus
plus
one on
one.
the top. You just click the little plus
Oh, okay.
or up arrow.
Cool.
All right, investigate. Perfect. So you got 3
Damn.
questions regarding
Not quite perfect, but close.
the slums.
All right. Well, the first question is, where does their water come from?
So for most of the slums, it is fed from a cistern style system. So there's basically groundwater that's either filtered through wells throughout the slums or from the river itself. That is then directed through cisterns to get to a well, and then those wells are used with standard bucket and rope system to just pull water up. It's pretty old school, not well regulated. There hasn't been a lot of repairs done. They just seem to be kind of forgotten, left to deal with what they have, because it is the slums and it might be a bit too dangerous to even go in there and repair the tunnels.
All right. And where is that? The cistern, like the main feed for the cistern system?
So that would be kind of back towards the river itself. So I think it probably gives you the location of the main facility that leads towards the the main feed into the tunnels, which would be, again, kind of by, pointed out here, kind of by this bridge area. You could probably get down into it, but it also points out the well locations throughout the slums as well. I think there's probably 6 different wells.
Okay. Anybody got another question for me? Those were the main two that I wanted to find out about.
Has there been any recent change in the infrastructure as far as anything that might connect to those cisterns, even if it's not necessarily in the slums?
The last bit of maintenance or repair hasn't happened for about 50 years. The tunnels have just been left alone.
Hmm.
No one seems to care to maintain them.
Awesome.
So it's not unlikely that the lake is bleeding in.
Alright.
There's one way to find out.
There certainly is. Y'all are gonna have so much fun with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can't wait to hobble around in sewage with a broken leg.
I'm not
It's gonna be
I'm
awesome.
not getting dirty. That's part of what we have Mike here for. Getting dirty is his thing.
It's his job.
Literally.
Literally.
Alright, so I guess we'll go grab a train and get as close to the slums as we can.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah, I think you probably have the option of coming down through the ethnic borough. I think the ethnic borough probably has one. Probably takes you to like the Chinatown portion of it. And then from there, there's the 2 bridges that kind of go across. So yeah, I mean, as you take the train in, the landscape changes. The housing, the structures are a bit smaller. There's a lot of bright kind of oriental lanterns around there. The flags around here kind of again have symbols from other countries. There's the smell of noodles and you know a lot of again oriental kind of food around this kind of part of the ethnic borough. A lot of people going around, kind of working, very welcoming to tourists, you know, to come in. Every once in a while, you'll see, you know, some of those shops where you might be able to find more of the more unique kind of medicines and all of that. Maybe a palm reader here and there. But it's a very colorful kind of part of the borough. Just a lot of bright colors, unique food, kind of just an interesting place to be. But you're able to hop off the train and then you see off to the West Slums, and it just looks run down. I don't know. Has Blanche ever been?
No.
Okay, so
Pretty sure like the industrial district is the worst part of the city she's ever been to, so
when you look at it, it doesn't look like anyone could live there. It
You
is.
visited the pit. I mean, come on.
Well, the pit is
she
just a
doesn't
big
think
pile
people
of
live in the
garbage.
pit
This
either.
is a sprawling landscape of makeshift buildings, partially collapsed apartments, tenements that are held up by mere plywood. There's even from just standing on the bridge looking across, you can see there's bullet holes in all of, you know, the hard surfaces. There's no clear roadway. It's just kind of mud and dirt. Everything's just dirty, run down, misused. But as you kind of are looking at this bridge, you do notice there's a decent amount of traffic. Going into it, it's a variety of what look to be, you know, medical carts to transpose bodies, maybe, you know, ambulance carts. There's a few that pass by that look to be kind of religious, pastors or fathers or whatever that are going in there maybe to do last rites. Coming out of the city, it's a lot of families that are just looking to escape from something deep in there. There's a bit of fear on their eyes. Every once in a while, someone will kind of cough next to you and try to just cover their mouth and skirt by. There's this stench coming from it as the wind blows by that even the smell from the river and the smell from the ethnic borough just can't hide. It's just a disgusting smell of bodily fluids, just all mixed and just floating heavy on the wind. So welcome to the slums.
Launch is going to pull out a remarkably pristine-looking handkerchief and kind of just press it to her mouth and her nose. You know, it's got perfume on it. She's trying not to smell. Her eyes are watering. She
Eric
looks
is
positively disgusted.
Luckily,
Eric.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Oh no, he's just looking deeply concerned because this is like right next to his neck of the woods.
It is. I mean, you're a bit deeper in the ethnic burrow, but you can just tell there's people leaving here, and they're coughing. Like there is a concern that whatever might be making them cough is traveling with them. But you also notice that the bridge you're standing on seems to match those records you have, and kind of at the far end you do see a kind of iron grate that seems to be pressed into the side of the bridge that might lead down below it.
Okay, well, looks like this might be our stop.
I'll have fun.
Mike, you're in the public works sector, yes?
What?
Do you think you could go take a look? See if there is a bleed through from the lake to the main water supply here?
You don't want to help me?
Myself,
Put on
Mike, I
put on
think
a
you'll
pouty
be
face.
Just fine. You're more than competent when it comes to the garbage.
Well, my concern is this, and he gestures at the temporary cast on him. This thing gets wet and vile, who knows what could happen.
Okay. Still looking very pouty.
Aw.
Poor baby. Now run along.
So Mike kind of heads down the bridge, goes around it. You can see that this iron grate there. You also notice there's a lot of kind of looks like graffiti drawings on the side of the bridge and kind of down underneath where you are as well. Gang signs, that kind of stuff. You go to reach for it. It does feel like it's locked. It has kind of a standard lock and old key kind of a deal to it. Looking past it, like you get a smell of, it just smells damp. You can hear a bit of what sounds like water kind of lapping against something, but it's dark. You don't really see too far, too deep inside wherever this leads.
So we need to break through it?
You tell me. I mean, the map would have shown other possible locations. Again, there's wells around as well. But this is what you see right now, a locked iron door. Darkness back behind.
How's it going down there, Mike?
It's locked.
Is it? All right. Give me a moment. I'll see what I can do about that. I am going to go down there. I'm just going to try to stay out of any kind of puddles or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to get down to the door and pull out my tools.
Okay, yeah, you're. It's not like all mud right here. It's still kind of part of the bridge. Imagine where the bridge kind of comes down to meet the street. This is built into the side of that, so there's still a bit of a solid platform around it. But inside it's hard to tell. But you pull out your tools from your jacket, from your pocket, and go to break in here. What are we doing here? I think this is probably a sneak around. You want to make sure that you're getting in, or actually, No, I think this is actually a go toe to toe, because you are struggling to control the state of this door.
Okay.
Because it's locked right now. So I would say it probably has a tier 2 locked status. Like, it's not a super in-depth lock, but it's a lock nonetheless. It's a public works lock. So yeah, for go toe to toe, you just describe how you're trying to overcome it. And then you roll plus power.
Okay. Well, I have the tools with me, so that's definitely the power tag that I'm going with. I would say I'm also trying to make a good impression, so I would go with crowd pleaser. Like, I really want to show off what I'm capable of, because as of right now, they really haven't seen much of what I can do. And you know what? I think that's probably going to be it.
Okay. Perfect. So you begin to tinker around with the lock. Go ahead and go toe to toe. All right, perfect. So that is enough to open it up without damaging it. So you're in there, and after a couple minutes, you hear a steady kind of spring click, and the door juts a bit loose, kind of squeaks a little bit, as a bit of rust kind of falls off the edge. But you hold it there, and it does appear to be open.
There you go. This is about as far as I'm willing to go in, though.
I'll head inside.
You get in. You notice that it seems to lead into a room. Off to your immediate left, you see kind of a metal shelf, and you see a few look like pipe wrenches and tools, but they're covered in cobwebs. They don't look like they've been used in a very long time. Straight ahead, you can see a hallway that seems to lead down, and that's where the water is coming from, but you can't really see past that point. It's just kind of dark. You can just very vaguely see the outline of this other hallway that leads. Again, you don't really see the floor, so you would assume kind of stairs down.
Does anybody have a light?
Afraid not.
I mean, if you want, you can definitely attempt to search the room, change the game, and give yourself a lantern. It's possible that they might have some leftover lanterns and stuff amongst the other tools they have on the shelves.
Yeah, might as well search around.
Okay. So as he's doing that, you're still up on the bridge, Blanche?
Yep.
You start to notice kind of off in the distance, looking past, again, it looks like kind of closer to the bridge, just a lot of ragtag houses that are just very not well put together. But past them, you see a string of apartment buildings, tenements that are, again, mostly cinder block. Some of the rooms seem to just be completely broken apart and just destroyed. The balconies, if they had any, don't really have any railing on them anymore. But you can see that there's a crowd forming kind of around the corner of one. Might be 20, 30 different people that all appear to be standing around, kind of looking the same way, talking amongst themselves, all just joining and getting together.
Can I sort of drift over in that direction, try and figure out what they're talking about?
So as you kind of get to the edge of the bridge, you look down to the mud, and you see, like, if you step past it, it's not just mud that's here. Kind of running on the little ditches they have towards the side, you see all types of human filth. You also notice that it's not just these houses that are built up. There's garbage just stacked next to these houses, like no one's come to pick up trash for a few days. There's this flies just flying around like dark clouds, just moving from one puddle to the other. So yeah, you can kind of see what you're about to walk into. But if you want to step into that and enter into a whole new world,
No, just turn and go back to the bridge.
Yeah, you just turn around. It's disgusting here. The trash hasn't gone out, and they have cholera, so there is all types of human element just in the streets because it's not like they have washrooms all over the place. So yeah, it might even get to the point where you kind of go and you face the other way, like trying to catch just the fresh air through your handkerchiefs, just to calm your stomach a bit, calm your nerves, just center yourself as they do what they want.
Yeah.
Mike, let's go ahead and change the game. See if you can find yourself a lantern or a torch or something in here.
Oh boy.
You had okay.
I don't have anything that would really help.
All right. So, with that,
Oh, Mike, you're killing me, Smalls.
let's see. Looking
It's
through
dark,
looking through the moves
okay.
here. It is dark.
It's not like y'all are getting down in here with me to help.
Oh, hell
true.
no, I'm not getting down in there.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
As you begin to kind of run your hands, against the wall, you end up grasping what feels to be a torch or a can or something like that, and that's when you feel something prick in your hand, and you rip your hand away real fast, and you hear a crash of glass on the ground. You kind of can see a bit of what appears to be what may have been a lantern that is broken across the ground. But on your hand, you see a bit of red kind of right in the middle of your palm. Looking close, it definitely looks like a bug bite. Burns a little bit. You kind of rub it with your thumb and it itches. But yeah, unfortunately, it appears the lantern that was here just broke. And Eric, you hear this. You hear this crash come from inside, and yeah. Mike appears to be standing there kind of rubbing his hand.
Is you all right?
Kind of give him a sad face as I show him my boo-boo.
Here, I pull out a handkerchief, wrap that around it. We'll see if we can get you some light. I'm gonna look around out here for, I don't know, it's slums, and when I think of slums, I often think of like garbage fires, like in cans. Like, is there anything kind of like that?
Yeah, you definitely a lot more because again, garbage hasn't been taken out, so you would probably see kind of down the blocks. They seem to dot kind of the corners, so there might be one fairly close to the crowd that you kind of see forming down there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go over there. I'll find something also that I can kind of dip in and set alight.
I mean,
like a stick or...
Yeah, there's old parts of the houses that have just fallen down, pieces of wood just scattered all over the place. Some of them you kind of have to avoid. Again, you're trying to walk over puddles, but every time you take a step, like you can feel just that squelch sound. Just it's starting to get in there, but for the moment, the bandages are holding strong. But you head over. As you begin to get kind of close, you have this piece of wood in your hand. You can see the crowd a bit clearer, and you can actually see past them. There's a pretty big wagon that appears to have two large barrels on the back of it. Standing on either side of the barrels are two younger guys. They're both wearing no sleeve shirts, and both of them seem to be holding shotguns. And then there's an individual standing on the top, and he's sitting up there. He's not wearing a shirt, but he has a long kind of brown. It looks like a suit jacket, but it's just kind of been worn out. And he's sitting kind of with his legs sprawled over both of the barrels and kind of looking down. And you see him kind of point to someone in the crowd, and they'll walk up, and most of them are carrying buckets or something. They'll go to the barrel and fill it up, and kind of look up to him and kind of smile and make their way around and kind of sit back there and just smile, looking around, scratch his chin every once in a while. Then after a couple minutes, we'll just point again and someone else will come, fill their water, and head away. But you head over to your barrel and you kind of light it up real quick, get your torch going, and you have a lit torch.
Okay. I'm gonna take it back to Mike, but I also kind of want to, like, was there anything funny looking about the water that I could see? It wasn't green, I guess, is really what I'm asking.
No, though the water looked clear. If you want to investigate, you might be able to see a bit closer.
I need to get this torch to Mike before it burns itself out.
No worries.
So
yeah, you head over to Mike. Mike, you're still standing there. It feels weird. It's kind of itchy again. It's just a normal bite. But he hands you the torch, and you kind of bring it inside to look around. And how does Mike feel about spiders?
Oh God.
Because as you bring the torch in, you hesitate for a moment because you see the wall look like glitter, kind of like there's stars, and your eyes adjust to the bright light, and you focus, and they're not stars. They're beady little eyeballs of what could be 20, 30 of these dark black spiders that are all just kind of grouped up in the corner on the cobwebs. You see a few of them scurry over the tools, kind of up. You look up on the roof, there's a few of them up there. The room seems to be pretty spider-fied. And being a garbage man, that black look probably is a spider you've seen before, not really one you want to be dealing with.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my hand and take the bite into my mouth and start sucking.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta get the venom out, man.
I know. It's just
Quick thinking.
This is horrible.
I'm gonna say take the
Everything about
risk
this is
on
horrible.
this. As you
Make sure you spit it all out.
what spider does Mike recognize these to be?
We'll just go with a black widow.
Of course. They like dark spaces.
Yeah. I mean, you basically like described them to a T.
It's horrible.
So yeah, I mean, chances are you have to pick up garbage, which are, small nooks, crannies, all that stuff, and the pit is not all that organized. So chances are you've dealt with these kind of spiders before. So yeah, let's take the risk to see if you're able to get out whatever might be within your hand.
And of course, garbage collector committed to the job.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on.
This is not a good day to be
Still.
Mike.
Turn off your hacks.
He was tired of us getting great success on every.
Yeah.
No, I think unfortunately I think you all kind of burned that a little bit.
Somebody's train roll.
Yeah, and this isn't even the train. Can't blame Thomas on this. As you begin to take the venom into your mouth, and you're just trying to squeeze it out. You have your other hand up there. You feel something land on the back of your neck, and it makes you jump.
Oh no!
And you gulp.
Oh.
And your eyes go real wide. And yeah, I'm gonna give you a tier 2 poisoned status as you can feel that burning start in your stomach and your gut starts to twist real bad. Eric, you see something black drop on the back of Mike as he's kind of standing there sucking on his hand for a moment. The torch, he's like trying to lean it away from his face and, you know, just sucks on it. And then you see him jump and something black falls on his neck, kind of begins to move its way down beneath his shirt.
Oh, Jesus.
Ah, damn it. I get in there and I try to smack it off.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
I know.
The spider while it's in his shirt.
Well, I'm hoping to get to it before it gets to that point.
Let's hit with all you've got. Hit with all
Hit
you've
with
got. It's a
all
spider.
I've
Hit,
got.
hit, smack,
It's just a spider.
smack
It's
that
probably
spider.
This is this is all totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah,
is.
and I'm looking at my power tags thinking, do I have anything that I can...
That can help kill a spider.
Perceptive, maybe? So I don't just smash it against him while it's taking a bite.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to... Right now, you just see it moving. You see it black kind of scurry down beneath his collar, and you're like, nope, can't let that happen.
Crowd pleaser again, because, you know, I definitely... You know, it would really be bad if we found out that, you know, I sent this guy down here and he got poisoned to death by a damn spider, so
Yeah.
crowd pleaser is definitely a thing that I'm throwing in on this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Spy Justice might say, all's well that ends well.
Yeah, maybe.
sidebar real quick. This has Wookiee with a jetpack and a snake written all over it.
That's all I got.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Hit with all I've got? Is that what you said?
Hit with all you've got.
Smack.
Okay, so you get to
Oh,
choose
thank
two
goodness.
of those. Yeah, for that, you can definitely squash it, and I would say there's no collateral damage, so it's not like you injure him as well.
Good. Great.
So, Mike, as you have like this moment of panic where you just ingested something, there's a thwap on your back, and you feel this wet kind of squirt as the spider is crushed on your back. You still have the torch there, and yeah, your stomach's feeling a bit warm and gurgly and not all that good at the moment.
I was also expecting to get a 5 or 6, by the way. Glad that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that's why I said the whole sidebar thing.
Blanche,
I was
you probably
expecting to be
hear
dead.
the sound of the slap, like the hit, just because it echoes a bit in that room, and you're standing up on the bridge.
Well, I mean, she's not going down there unless one of them calls her, and even then, they'd have to ask really nice, so... She's just gonna continue to hang out, keep an eye on the surrounding areas.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
still...
It isn't weird that she's just chilling out on a bridge.
It's not. I think you probably aren't the only one there. There's probably a few families that have stopped to just look back at what their home is, look forward, not really sure where to go. The traffic, again, it's still fairly constant. You see, families going one way, and then carts of, again, ambulance medic kind of carts making their way in. Yeah, it's just a steady flow of people.
Oh, I just had the most evil thought ever, but I won't do it.
Well, now we're all curious.
Tell you after the game.
All right, fair.
So, Mike, what you're here? You got the venom out of your hand. Now it's in your stomach. You got the torch. You're in a spider room. You can see a hallway. What's Mike doing? Where's Mike going? What's his plan?
Might as well get it figured out real quick.
All right. So you take the torch and you begin to head in?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Eric, do you follow or?
No, I came about as far in as I'm willing to go because we're just gonna get into puddles and other stuff, and I really don't need to fuck up my leg anymore.
Mm-hmm. So as Mike begins to make his way inside, the torch kind of flickers. You end up walking down maybe 5-6 different steps, and you get to a fairly large tunnel. There's a reservoir, maybe about 16 inches of water that's down, and there does seem to be a walkway that kind of sits on either side. As you begin to walk, you come across a place where the tunnel splits, and down one side, the tunnel's just completely collapsed. There's nothing there. So you follow the other one and begin to head kind of deeper and deeper, following it. The water, it has a little bit of a sense of movement, not a ton. And you can definitely see water lines up against the wall where the water had been higher, but now seems to be down a bit lower. Every once in a while you'll see a rat kind of run by. You'll kind of get a random splash as something is kind of, dumped in here, but this is supposed to be, again, the clean water. As you would know, most of the bio waste is supposed to go into the river on the south part, or the far west part of the West Slums. So it just keeps, going into farmland and can fertilize. But because of just the sickness and the disease, it's almost impossible to keep the garbage out. But you continue to make your way until you get to a point where it looks like it actually goes up to a well. You can actually see the remnants of a rope, but it looks like it's been cut, and it's still hanging up above, maybe about 5 or so feet kind of up in the well itself. Down the tunnel, you kind of shine your light, and it's a bit dark, but you can see a bit of blockage, but it does appear like water is being pulled in that direction. But you start to smell something beyond just a bio waste. It's the smell of rot.
Oh.
Well, let's find it.
You begin to walk down towards the blockage, and at first you kind of stop because you hear this like sound of something knocking. So you kind of try to squint your eyes, and you look, and you can see the bucket's kind of up against the part of the tunnel is just collapsed, and it's hitting against the stone as water again seems to be kind of pulled through these rocks. But you notice that there's something there floating next to it. It's kind of a lighter pinkish color. It looks humanoid, maybe some tattered pants. Just seems to be floating there.
I think I'm gonna head back to the group.
Okay.
Relay the information to them.
So on the bridge, Belange and Eric, you kind of have, I would say, about 15-20 minutes that he's down there. Again, you probably see another 3 or 4 families go by, another, 2 or so funerary carts travel by. Again, you often see priests kind of traveling into the city again, last rite, something like that, but it seems to be a fairly high amount of them. Like it might even make you wonder, where are all these priests coming from? Do we have that many churches in here? But you notice that the crowd starts to get a bit smaller what do you guys spend your time doing up here?
I actually kind of wanted to get a little closer to those guys who had shotguns and appeared to be giving out water.
Okay. So after he leaves, you kind of begin making your way back through there. Again, there's enough of a crowd that you don't really stand out. No one really looks you in the eye. No one seems to look anyone really in the eye here. Their faces all kind of hang low. As you get back in there a bit deeper, there's a steady, coughing. You might even turn and see, a younger woman kind of trying to hide herself as she's just throwing up over and over again back behind one of the buildings. You have to step over a pile of just, refuse and expulsion, human, all of that release. But you kind of get closer to the group. There's still probably about 15 or so people here standing with their buckets or whatever jars they have available. If the crowd pushes in too far, you can see the two guys with shotguns will kind of step and just forcibly push them all back, not really caring to be restrained about it. Just move back, and the one on the top just continues to kind of point. Someone will come get water, and he'll just look back, just kind of smiling. So you want to kind of investigate the scene a little bit?
Yeah.
Perfect. And Blanche, as he kind of walks away, do you attempt to follow, or do you just kind of keep an eye from back where you're at?
No, I'm gonna keep an eye from back where I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't
probably
wanna
only
get any
about...
closer to any of the dirty people.
It's probably only about 2
unwashed
blocks
masses.
away, so it's not too hard to see him and be able to get there pretty quick if needed.
Okay.
And here I am, waist deep in sewage.
Yeah. With dead bodies and stuff. That's fun.
You're walking on the side. I didn't make it go in the water yet. Come on. Haven't spilled anything on your head.
Just spiders.
Just spider guts.
Just one.
Oh yeah, I should be clicking tags, shouldn't I?
Yes. What tags are we using to investigate this crew?
Acutely perceptive, driven to know who's pulling strings, and that'll be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
You have your questions.
Okay. So the main thing is, do they seem to be like asking for anything from these people, or are they just giving out the water? Is there any kind of transaction going on?
Beyond the selection process, which again just seems to be him pointing at someone, no, you don't see them leaving anything behind. There's not really a lot of conversation overheard.
And is there anything about the selection process that sticks out? Or is it random?
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything that stands out. Maybe the more calm folks, the ones that seem okay to wait patiently, seems to be the ones that are called upon first. The ones that are more aggressive and kind of pushing in the front, he seems to like playing with their emotions, where you'll kind of see him almost point towards them and then point to someone back behind to almost get a rise out of them.
Okay. All right. And then I guess I don't have any clues left, but is there any kind of markings or anything on the wagon or the barrels that I would just notice?
Yeah, so you see, now that you're closer, there's actually the emblem of one of the fairly larger breweries in downtown. It's marked with their name, which is what? What's their name? Let's figure out a name for them real quick.
Zipline.
Zipline. Ooh, I like this. The Ghost Apple. So the Ghost Apple Brewery, clearly marked, burnt in. Someone stamped both these barrels.
All right.
That.
Interesting. Well, I don't have a problem with them giving water to these people who are like dying, so I'm not gonna look too deeply into it, but it's just nice to know. Keep my eyes open.
Absolutely. And again, it seems that I guess as you sit there, you will notice there's quite a few people that walk by them, almost crossing to the other side of the street. All these families that seem to be leaving, they seem to want nothing to do with them, which being from the ethnic borough, you might see that a bit odd, but I think you would also understand that these are probably gang members in some fashion.
Okay.
So that would be. I mean, you've heard the gunshots come from the slums before. You know the rumors about the wars that almost break out here. So that could be kind of why some folks are choosing to ignore them while others are accepting their gift.
All right. Cool. That's all I got for now.
So by the time you're heading back, you see Mike kind of come out, and your torch is almost dead at this point. So by the time you kind of step out of it, you kind of have to just toss it aside, and you hear the hiss. But both of you make your way on top of the bridge, and what do we say here? Do.
Well,
I'm
how
gonna
did it
tell
go?
him about the very pink, fleshy humanoid thing that I found.
I see. I think
So-
there's a person's remains down there. Well,
Just the one?
It was like being sucked up into the rocks next to a bucket next to the well. Bucket thing.
what do you mean sucked into the rocks?
I don't know. The rocks were pulling it towards it, like the water was going in there. Do you want to come look?
No, thank you.
Exactly. There's rocks, there's the thing, and it's like all going in towards the rock.
I see. What time of day is it?
Still mid-afternoon, probably about
Hmm.
3:30.
Do any of you know anything about cholera? I mean, could that body be the cause of all of this? Doesn't seem likely, but I don't know anything about disease.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know there was an outbreak until today. Till you showed up. But it stands to reason that if there's a body in the water supply, that would help pollute it. I'm more concerned with the fact that apparently the body seems to be being sucked in by rock.
No, the rocks aren't going in. Something behind the rock.
It just seemed like the water was still continuing to move past the rubble. So just like, again, movement of water. It wasn't like actively trying to destroy the body. It was just the water was passing
Oh!
past the body and going through
Okay.
the rubble to the other
So-
side.
All right, so the body was just stuck up against the rubble, and water kept on
Exactly,
just
yeah.
going through the rubble. Okay.
Come on, guys. Like,
Mike's
I'm
just,
I'm
he has to draw it
explaining
for
it
you.
in Mike terms. Like,
Yeah, no.
come on.
I could
Wow.
go do some research on cholera, but that won't help us if we don't know where the source of the pollution is.
Right. I mean, this body there. I just don't know if. Well, I don't know anything about it, but it just seems like one body wouldn't be enough to contaminate an entire borough.
No, I agree. Though why that body is down there might have something to do with all of this.
That's true.
Were there any other pathways that you saw, Mike?
No.
Any turns, any other way that body could have gotten there?
I did not come across anything else.
So however that body got there, it would have had to have come through that gate or through the well above, before the cave-in. Well, let's find the well, shall we?
Certainly.
So you would be able to kind of recall the map you had seen, and there's a well not too far back here. You have to kind of cut through some of the back alleys to get to it. It's probably about 5 or so blocks away, but back into a small courtyard that it as you pass through, you actually would see a few bodies being pulled out of some of these apartments. You see a variety of people just in foul shape, huddled up against a wall, just kind of shivering, just in pain. Children just held by their mothers as they're just every tiny drop, an ounce they have within their body just being spilled onto the ground, just thrown up. People trying to just have a bit of privacy, of modesty, but just not able to, and having to just stop in the middle of the street and look around, hoping no one sees them evacuate their bowels. It's just panic and sheer concern. But you focus, you come to the well. The well has been covered with a bunch of scrap board, and someone has taken paint and written toxic on the top of it in bright red paint. Back in front, kind of on the street, you see again, probably a priest going into one of the buildings. It seems that most of these buildings are starting to get fairly empty. There doesn't seem to be a lot of life, and the life that is here is just very sick.
When we were going down the back alleys, Blanche would have kind of instinctively gravitated a little bit towards Mike, looking a little nervous, and then smelled him, and then immediately recoiled. And ended up walking closer to Eric, which she still didn't look thrilled about, but it was
Nope.
Mike.
It's luckily to the point that I think the smells are so intense that your senses have to basically dull themselves to be able to push through. So it's to the point that you can't really smell much of anything at this point. It's just all empty.
Well, let's have a look, shall we?
Yep.
She'll give Mike an expectant look. A look at the boards.
What do you want
The
me
boards,
to do?
Mike. Move them.
I guess.
As you begin to go to move the boards, a little girl, maybe 6, 7, kind of runs out. You can see there's stains kind of down her shirt, and she kind of comes out of the courtyard. No, don't. The water's not safe. Don't
We
drink
know,
the
dear.
water.
We're not going to drink it. We're here to try and figure out what's making everyone sick, alright?
Please do. We're all. The doctor said, "Don't drink the water. Don't drink the water." She kind of
Promise we won't.
leans up against the wall, kind of grasping her chest a little bit, and you can just tell she's just worn out and just watching you.
I'm gonna do what little I can to comfort her, distract her a little bit, maybe with some simple coin tricks, things like that, to kind of get her mind off of how awful she feels, because she reminds me of my sister.
As you get closer to her, you see her eyes are just bloodshot red. You've never seen a 6-year-old with bags under her eyes, but she does, as if she hasn't slept for so long. You can see her skin is tight, as if she's dehydrated and not fed. Her shirt is just stained down the front from vomit. You can see, dried, just crust in the sides of her mouth, and there's a foul, stench kind of coming from her. Kind of get close and do a couple tricks, and she kind of smiles. She tries to smile, but she's just in so much pain. It's really hard. You can tell she kind of appreciates it. She turns every once in a while to cough really hard, and I mean it's like a thick mucousy cough, and kind of turn back to you again. Her eyes just look
one of those
lifeless.
Yeah, one of those times that she turns away and coughs. Like, I'm gonna turn to Mike and Blanche and just kind of like this, like seriously, like sad, like, please figure this out. Look.
Yeah. So Mike, you lift the boards off. It's not like they were really hammered all that well down on there. And you look down, you can see the rope. It goes down again, probably about 5 or 6 feet. And with the light going down there, you can actually see deeper. It's probably about a good 15 or so feet deep down into the water source. But you can see down in there where you had walked. You can't see the blockage because that's further down, but you can definitely see down into the area that you had been walking in.
Is there anything that we can see that's slightly different now that we're looking at it from this angle, like with more light and whatnot?
Go ahead and investigate. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what you're looking at.
I think I'm gonna go with library benefactor because I'm used to looking for little details most people might not see.
Okay.
Stability because I'm trying to give these people that.
Mm-hmm.
Patience and cunning. Looking for stuff.
Perfect. Okay. You have your 3 questions.
Oh, I only really had the one. You said we can't see the blockage.
You can't. No, right now the blockage was probably about 7 to 8 feet away from the hole, the well itself. So you can see down into where the center kind of canal where the water runs through is, and then the 2 little side paths on the side of it. And then you see the rope that goes down into. You don't see a bucket attached to the rope. Then you can look kind of around the area, the general area as well.
Is there any sign that might of that something might have been put down there that shouldn't have, that might have contributed to whatever the blockage is? He said there was like a collapse, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it looked very similar to the other collapsed tunnel that he had gone by. So looking at here, you don't see anything as far as structural damage, but you do see kind of on the edge of the well going down, there's a scrape, and when you kind of look closer, it appears to be blood and a bit of skin and hair that might be stuck up against the rough surface of the well.
Okay. Mike,
Yes.
how large was the how large would you say the body was? Was it or child? She's purposefully keeping her voice quiet so that the little girl doesn't hear.
It was definitely larger. It seemed very kind of skinny but waterlogged, and it seemed to be about the size of an adult.
Okay. Can I see a way that an adult might have gotten down there other than to just fall?
Shoved,
Like,
folded and shoved into. Not there's unless they jumped from the top. Like, it's possible you could probably stand on the lip and just jump into, or just forcefully put down
Stuff.
into it. Yeah.
Okay, can I turn my attention to the area around us?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. I am looking for particular signs. You said that we saw like tags and whatnot from gangs. I'm looking for one in the area that would match. Either match one of the ones that we saw or at least seem similar that would stand out.
Okay. So you probably see something. What is it here? Let me look. You see a marking, and at first it kind of looks like a skull, a roundish shape, kind of two eyes. But as you look at it closer, it actually appears to be an owl, not a skull. It's designed in such a way to almost look like a skull, but yeah, you can see the little beak, the wings, the feathers kind of detailed on the side. And it's just this emblem, but as you kind of get close to the wall it's on to look at it closer, you see that there's something kind of buried in the ground, kind of sticking up, and it seems strange because it doesn't look like wood from the area. It's like maybe a piece of furniture or anything like that, but your foot kind of kicks it, and as you look down, you see a stake, maybe about 14 inches in length, sharp point, and the point is caked in blood.
Okay. I'm gonna turn and kind of put that behind me. Eric, why don't you take our friend back to her parents before they start worrying for her?
With the mention of her parents, she just
no.
starts sobbing.
Oh no. I give the poor kid a hug even though she's covered in vomit and disgustingness.
Oh.
I'm gonna say I need you to take the risk to avoid getting any of that on you.
Yeah. Okay. Escape artist?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a hug, but it's gonna be more of an air hug than you realize.
Yeah. Crowd pleaser. And I think that's all I got. So
Okay.
you said take the risk?
Okay.
That's not great.
I mean, it's not a failure.
It isn't.
True.
It isn't. Yeah, you're able to kind of avoid getting in contact with her. Like, you avoid her hair and all of that. But she just seems to be just kind of shattered and stuck in place, just in this sobbing mess. You know you'll be able to lead her away, but you're gonna have to take her hand to do so. Or you can just kind of let her be, kind of standing here just sad against the wall.
No,
Not
I
gonna
can't do
bother you.
that. I can't do that.
Okay.
I'll take her by the
so-
hand and walk her away.
As you grab her hand, it's wet, it's sweaty, it's kind of balmy. Like, you lead her to the front. She kind of just looks up at this building. Maybe about 6 or 7 stories tall. There's a couple other people kind of sitting, out on their front desks or front, porches with rags over their mouths, just trying to survive. And she just kind of looks back to you, and there's just this look of lost. Like, she knows where her house is, but what is there? And she lets go of your hand and tries to give you a smile as hard as she can, and just kind of turns and begins to make her way inside.
With one last trick, I'm gonna pull out like a pound coin from behind her ear and give it to her.
Yeah, she smiles big, takes it and puts it into one of the pockets on her dress, and looks again kind of down the block and around at her world. Eyes just kind of wide, and just turns. And as she's getting inside, she just turns around. Thank you, mister. Thank you.
Take care of yourself, okay?
Of course. And she kind of fades into the darkness. You look down to your hand, and there's definitely stuff on it. It's just, you can tell it's a dirty hand. Like, it is just not clean.
If there's any like gross chunks of stuff, like, and a bare enough section of wall or corner of a building or whatever, I'm gonna try to like just scrape some of the off.
You wipe it off, but there's still just that feeling of, okay, be careful with this hand.
Yep.
As he leaves Blanche, is there something you wanted to do, or are you waiting for him to come back?
I'm pulling the stake out by the clean end, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it looks like it might have been the leg of a table, something like that, that's been sharpened down to a pretty fine point. Again, about 13, 14 inches long, and a good 3 or 4 inches on the end is just that dark kind of crimson color.
All right, Mike. I think we know how that body got down and how they were killed before they were put down there. I wish I had pencil and paper.
For what?
So I'd like to make a copy of that, and she'll point at the owl up on the wall. Maybe something that is worth looking into. Body gets shoved down a well. It didn't get down there on its own. I doubt anyone would try and kill themselves jumping 15 feet. And there's a stake covered in blood directly above this. Or below, rather. But we should cover the well up before anybody else drinks it.
So I'll take and re-batten down the well.
Lift it back on, you make sure it's kind of tightened on there, maybe press it down a bit harder just to make sure no one gets in there. Eric kind of walks in, and I think as you all have a moment of recollection, kind of piecing whatever this is together, we're going to kind of fade away. The camera pulls out. You still see the hustle and bustle of the West Slums. The crowd is now, only a few people left. They kind of get their water and leave, and you can see the one on top of the barrels hops off and talks to the other two, and the whole wagon, they pick it up, kind of get on either side of it and begin mucking their way kind of down the street, and he kind of follows along with them. A few additional funerary carts move by. There's a cart full of probably 5 or 6 bodies of a variety of ages that go by. You see a variety of nurses kind of in their white gear that's now just kind of dark brown and it's starting to move up their legs as they go around just trying to do everything they can. And the whole kind of area seems to be in a bit of chaos. And with that, the credits roll, and we will come back to the disgust that is the West Slums next week.
It's lovely here.
It is. It's a wonderful place right on the Emerald Lake,
What's your guys' problems?
I don't have. Well, my problem is that my home like neighbors this area, so if people are dropping dead left and right, that's going to be a problem for me eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nasty here.
Okay, who's the one that's gonna die from a spider bite?
Oh no, you're fine.
You're not gonna die from a black widow bite. It sucks, but it's not gonna kill you.
Drink it.
Such
Drink
a
the pain away.
baby.
It's just it's a bit of acid reflux at the moment.
I might get cholera from a gross kid.
You might.
So that's
Have
fun.
with
He
that
is
hand.
such a baby.
It's just a little cholera. What's a little cholera between
It's
friends?
fine. It's all fine.
Who's the person that got the disguise slapped right off of him?
That would
Right?
be you.
And your handler is she's
a
not
little
satisfied
frisky.
with what's going on right
No,
now.
she wants a little Mike.
She wants a
Oh
little.
my.
Yeah, better not tell Wendy. Awesome. So as we end tonight, go ahead and add a help or hurt point to anyone you feel you would like to. I don't think we used any crew tags, but if you did, go ahead and get those back. And as we wrap up tonight, I do believe Eric has a level up, so we'll talk about that in a moment. But to everyone that is watching out there on the YouTube, again, I do apologize for the errors of missing out last week, but I think this week made up for it. We had quite some interesting things. If you're at all interested in joining this or any of our other crazy games, feel free to click that Discord link down below. Again, City of Mist does have a free starter set, so if you're at all interested in running this game, keep in mind the city, the landscape, the investigations can be anything you can possibly think of. So if you even think this kind of system would be fun, trust me, you can tell amazing stories for whatever you possibly come up with. So go down there. There's a link to the free starter set. You get that. You get a few pre-made characters. It gives you everything you need to run a couple sessions. And if you like it, buy the book because it is very, very beautiful and lovely to look at. That's all I have to say for tonight. So thank you for watching. Thank you 3 for playing. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.